welcome to another video. In today's video, it's the story of my team's entry into the 2016 Drones for Good competition. Okay, so what was Drones for Good? Drones for Good it ran for 2 years. So it was 2015, it was 2016, and it was put on in the UAE, United Arab Emirates, and it had a $1 million first prize, and its premise was building drones that did good. And I think a lot of it was kind of like United States with its bad drones, like killing people all the time. Like, hey, what about some drones for good? So in 2015, I just bought a house not too long ago, and I was just kind of like not doing anything but running my business and remodeling this house, right? But I was kind of going freaking batshit on all that, so I got into building FPV racing drones. And I was building them and then selling them on eBay, right? And then I'd buy all this stuff and build another one and get it all set up and put it on eBay and sell it. And then, so I was doing that because I really liked building them. And flying them was a whole another level, because you fly it, you break it, you rebuild it, you fly it, you break it, you rebuild it, right? I didn't have the money to do that. I couldn't just be crashing these things all the time and just building them, right? And honestly, building them was a lot of fun, right? I mean, I put LEDs and everything, and not on all of them, like the bones to the wall racing ones didn't have LEDs, but so anyway, I was having a lot of fun with it. And right about this time, this freaking dipshit kid throws a firework during fire season and starts this crazy fire that totally chokes Portland, right? And I was like, it was like east of Portland up the gorge, and my house was like in the most exclusive neighborhood in the whole city, only 9 houses in this neighborhood, right on top of a little hill, right there on the gorge. And so I was just smoked out, like freaking, it sucked, right? And it's smoky right now from forest fires. So don't wonder why I thought about telling the story. So I'm building drones, and I'm, drones, loving every minute of it, researching, looking what they're doing with them, staying cutting edge on everything, right? And I see this Drones for Good, and I see the freaking winner, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? That just won $1 million? Oh, pfft. I can outdo that. And so part of this fire that this kid had started it was like down a cliff and shit. They couldn't get to it, right? Well, oh man, why don't we have a fire extinguisher on a drone, And so I literally just started going down that road. I compiled a team. So I had a guy, I'm horrible with names. I don't remember anybody's names. This is like 2015, right? So I had this dude, and he was, maybe still is, a drone tech writer, a drone pilot, does a lot of stuff with fire departments. At that time, he was doing stuff with fire departments and drones, like getting drones into fire departments, right? So that was one guy. Another guy was my builder, and he was the inventor of AgBot, which was an agricultural drone that was full of sensors and could, fly over fields and GPS your problems, next level stuff. And finally, I had a ex-Boeing engineer. And this guy had worked on satellites for Boeing in like China, of all places. Very odd. Has really crazy stories to tell. next level intelligence, right? So I've got my team and I've got my plan, and I'm gonna get into Drones for Good 2016, right? Like, I'm on it, right? To the tune of like $5,000 I spent in a time when I really didn't have that kind of money, to be honest, to just be spending on that stuff. And I believe the reason I didn't make it, it was only 20 people would get in. And I don't think I got in because I didn't have a working prototype, right? I still have it right here. Okay, so this is the contraption that goes up underneath the drone, and then this whole thing, I mean, this works so well. It's really ridiculous how it's not. Ew. Ew, there's black stuff coming out. Okay, so anyway, I probably shouldn't have left it in the sun with water in it. So anyway, this thing goes up underneath the drone. We had the whole entire drone parts, everything that we were gonna run, aside from this, was off the shelf stuff, right? I had a CAD designer outside of a little south of Seattle. I actually drove to his house with that tank and sat there one day, and we designed the mounting brackets basically that hold the tank to a off-the-shelf frame. So there's a frame out there. It was designed for cameras, right? Red cameras, so, you know, pretty heavy stuff. So if you've seen the Casey Neistat video, where Casey Neistat, I mean, he's not a huge dude, but he probably weighs like 140 pounds or something like that. And he's picked up and flown around by a drone, right? So off-the-shelf drone technology in 2015 could lift that tank, no problem. Okay, so the technology required to put something like this together is basically already there, because as a country, we already are detecting all the lightning strikes. So there's a map, you can go online and look up and see where all the lightning strikes are happening. So we have the ability to detect lightning strikes early and send these drones out to put out small fires before they get big, okay? Now, everybody wants to argue how fire's natural. I agree, it is 100% natural, but I don't know if you can see in the background, where I live is full of junipers. Those junipers aren't, in this number, aren't natural. We did that by our mismanaging of land. So now we have all these junipers. So now you have fire go through and it's in trees. That's a whole different story than grass being burned naturally, okay? So we need to decide when the fires are going to happen. So we'll put out the little ones with the drones, and then we'll go into areas and light the fires controlled that need it. That's where we are at. We've already messed things up to the point where we really need to control that stuff until we can get it converted back and let it kind of go. So anyway, back to the drones. So I've got the CAD design from the guy. I've got this part here. I've already put the video in on this channel that we used to try to get into the contest. And my guy from Boeing, he wrote just technical information, like, ouch, my brain hurts level stuff about like everything we were doing. He put in so much work. And so we were ready. And, obviously, we weren't going to need to, for the contest, I wasn't going to need to be able to have the technology to track a lightning strike and to track fire and to put out fire. I wouldn't need any of that technology at all. Okay, so the Drones for Good competition was a show, okay? And you probably don't know me, maybe you do, but that's one thing I'm known for, is putting on a good show. So that's what I was going to do. I was going to put on a really good show. Like, I've been involved with pyrotechnics and all this stuff, right? So I'm looking at the 2015 Drones for Good and going, yeah, let me in that. Let me show up with my crew and my concepts and my performance ability, and I'll walk away with that $1 million. Bam, no problem. And it's going into some company to stop forest fires. If it's not like I'm going to go, woohoo, got that million. Here you go, buddies. Let's roll. No. It's time to put that to work, right? And I would have loved to gone down that avenue and taken on that task and been involved with it. And I probably would have needed to be involved with it for a very, very short amount of time. Because as far as like all the real technical stuff, that's not my department. I brought everybody together. I had the idea. I put on the show. I won the contest, and boom. That's not how it went. That's how it should have went, but I didn't even get in the contest. Very sad. So, yeah, it would have been huge, but yeah. And yeah, the $4,000 or $5,000 I spent at the time trying to get into that contest, if I could have got that back, that would have been sweet, but oh well. That was my attempt to save, one of my attempts to save the world. There's been a few. So, yeah, and I would love, I lost the engineering stuff, everything in the fire. So I lost everything in a fire about 1.5 years ago. I still have that control. It's super raw. All those parts need to come apart and then be remachined down to just exactly what is needed to, there's a lot of extra stuff on there just to, make it work. Because it's just off the shelf stuff just to get to see if this would work. And that tank's real benefit was the fact that it could maintain a stream distance very consistently. So the drone wouldn't have to constantly be adjusting itself for the stream's decrease in pressure. Like, the stream reached a peak and it held that same distance through a large range of pressure, right? Which was just unexpected and a bonus. Like, that's perfect. That's what you want. You want the drone to be able to come up, know that it's going to have, 1 minute of 17 feet and then 2 minutes of 14 feet, and it's that with the pressure and the water, it's all calculable. Okay. So that's the story basically. If you're a college and you happen to watch this video, yeah, feel free to contact me and I will just give you that tank and that setup and sit there and tell you whatever you want to know and encourage the heck out of you. So if you liked the video, hit like. If you didn't like it, hit dislike twice. Subscribe. I'm almost to 100 subscribers. That'll be big. Yes. Have a wonderful day and peace.